What up, cappers, gamblers, punters? The Belmont Stakes is nigh. The Belmont Stakes is nigh. Yeah! Yeah! We've had a very successful first two jewels. We cashed $1,010.60 profit on the Derby, and then we lost $11 on the Preakness. In the Preakness, we were 3 feet away from hitting a $1,400 plus exactor with our $50 straight exactor justified to tenfold. Bravazzo came up late, put his teeth in front of tenfold, and cost us a huge payout. But coming that close is a very good sign. On Triple Crown picks given out on the Low Shack in the Bag show, I am 8-1, up 9.4 units, with an average line of -132 and an ROI of 67%. Feeling good. But no time to pat ourselves on the back. It is time to cap this Triple Crown race, the Belmont Stakes, 1.5 miles in New York City. Now, I promised my dad many, many years ago that in the Belmont Stakes, I would fade any horse who won the first two jewels of the Triple Crown, regardless of how strong they look. Yes, Justify looks strong. He is training very well. They call completing the Triple Crown the test of a champion. What it is unfair. A thoroughbred shouldn't run 3 extremely difficult races in 5 weeks. The Derby is 1.25 miles. The Preakness is 1 mile and 3/16. And then the third jewel, the most grueling, the Belmont Stakes, is 1.5 miles. It will be raining again. This is our third Triple Crown race in the rain. But the track is expected to be much better than the slop that we had at Churchill for the Kentucky Derby and Pimlico for the Preakness Stakes. Since 2008, we have had 4 Triple Crown bids on the line. 2008, we had Big Brown pulled up in the race as the odds-on favorite. In 2012, I'll Have Another scratched on the eve of the race with an injury. In 2014, California Chrome finished 4th as the odds-on favorite. And in 2015, American Pharoah was our first Triple Crown winner in 37 years. People think because of the 1.5 mile length of the Belmont that closers would have a better chance. Late closers have historically not performed well in the Belmont. Because of the long distance, the pace is generally much slower. Closers have to secure a better position. Mike Shuddy, who rode Super Screener, says it's imperative to look for a horse who can distribute his energy evenly throughout the race. Deep closers and wire-to-wire type horses do not typically win the Belmont Stakes. So we don't pick a horse who has an erratic distribution of energy. Let's talk about the pace. If the pace is 25 and 50, meaning a 25-second first quarter and a 50-second half, the closers will have no chance. If Justified gets out to a lead, 25-second or even a 24 and 3 first quarter, he will win the race. But there is expected to be a faster pace than normal in the Belmont. Noble Indy and Restoring Hope. Now, we will go through all of these horses, but Noble Indy and Restoring Hope are expected to give us a faster pace. There are a bunch of closers in this race. The second and third favorites in this race, Hofburg and Vino Rosso, are deep closers. Now, Rosso, this is his home track. He's going to have to be closer to the pace if he wants a piece of this, but Hofburg just doesn't do that. Hofburg is always coming from the clouds, coming from way back. Also, don't take a horse that has a speed rating drop from the Derby to the Preakness. This has been a red flag in past Belmonts. Justify saw his buyer drop from 103 in the Derby to 97 in the Preakness. Not good. Red flag. We need to find a horse that will stalk the pace. A horse that is sitting on a huge race. A horse that is not exhausted by running in the first two jewels of the Triple Crown. Let's go over the last 10 years very quickly of the Belmont Stakes, just so you know what you should be looking for to get that cash in the Belmont Stakes. Last year, the first quarter was 23.88. The first half was 48.66. Tappert was in third, stalking the pace the whole time. Won the race. In 2016, the pace was 24.09 and 48.48. Creator won as a closer. His trainer, Steve Asmussen, who also trains Tenfold, was concerned that there was going to be a slow pace, so he entered a horse named Gettysburg. His only job in that race, Gettysburg, was to set the pace. Creator won in a photo finish. Had he not been there, Destin would have opened that race with a 25-second first quarter and a 50-second first half and won the race easily. I had bet heavily on Destin. When Pharaoh completed the Triple Crown in 2015, he opened with a 24.06 first quarter and a 48.83 first half. Just slow enough for him to comfortably win this race wire to wire. In 2014, when Tonalist stopped California Chrome from winning the Triple Crown, it was a 24.06 first quarter, a 48.52 first half. Tonalist opened in fifth and was in third at the half. Okay, let's remember these spots that these horses were with. In 2013, Palace Malice. First half was 46 and 3/5 seconds, was sitting third at the half. In 2012, when Union Rags won there, 23.74 first quarter, 49.23 first half, he was in fifth, 4.5 lengths off the pace. In 2011, when Ruler on Ice won, there was a 24.92 first quarter, and Ruler on Ice was in second. In 2010, when Drosselmeyer won, 24.15 first quarter, 49.15 first half, he was in fifth. In 2009, when Summer Bird won, it was a fast pace at 47.13 first half, he was in fifth. We keep hearing that same position. We need to find a horse who is going to be between third and fifth at the half and ready to make a huge run to stop Justify winning the Triple Crown. When Datara won at 38-1 in 2008, he wired the race. It was a very strange race. Big Brown was pulled up, and Datara won easily wire to wire. 23.82 first quarter, 48.30 first half. Only Datara and American Pharaoh have wired this field over the last 10 years. So before we break down the horses, let's talk about what we are looking for and what you should be looking for. We don't want a deep closer. We don't want a horse that has a speed figure decrease from the Derby to the Preakness. And we don't want a horse who is exhausted from running the first two jewels of the Triple Crown. That means we just took the top 4 favorites out of our picks. Now, the third or fourth favorite, Vino Rosso, I will be including, and we will get to why. But that's how you get big scores in horse racing. You take the favorites out of your tickets. With the 3 horses I'm going to tie with Justify in exactor boxes. So I'm taking 3 horses. I'm tying them to Justify in a box. So Justify can win, my horse can come second. Decent payout. But if my horse comes first and Justify comes second, I get paid big. Now, Justify may be one of the best horses in the history of the sport, but I will not be making any solo bets on Justify. I will try to beat him. Let's take a look at this field. Yeah! Horse in the first post. Post number 1, Justify. Morning line 4-5, high buyer of 107. Trained by Hall of Famer Bob Baffert. Ridden by Hall of Famer Mike Smith. Bob Baffert trained American Pharaoh. He's been in this situation before. He is trying to become, Justify is trying to become just the 13th horse to win the Triple Crown since 1875. His speed figures regressed. His length of victory shrunk. He has been at his best when chasing a target. So Baffert is bringing in a rabbit named Restored Hope so that Justify can stalk him. Restored Hope is the horse. The plan is Hope's going to go out there and Justify's going to keep an eye on him. Now, there is a horse that Pletcher has brought into the race that can mess this all up named Noble Indy. If Noble Indy goes right to the front, he can make Justify work too hard. And if we want a big score here, we want Justify to work too hard. Now, Justify's having tremendous workouts. He looks extremely strong. But of concern is the fact that he got a late start to his career. He debuted just more than 3 months ago and has already raced 5 times in a very compressed time period. Past Triple Crown bidders like California Chrome, Charismatic, and Real Quiet shared similar heavy-duty campaigning leading up to their defeats in the Belmont Stakes. Even greater pause is the 2 consecutive significant drops in his Brisnet speed rating over his last 2 races. So he peaks at the Santa Anita Derby, then a 12-point drop to the Kentucky Derby, and even a slight improvement to the Preakness would have been a promising sign, but that did not happen. Also, this group of 3-year-olds is one of the deepest in many, many years. There are rested top Derby runners ready to submit peak performances off of 5 weeks of rest. And we talked about Noble Indy. We can be assured of some early pressure, thereby preventing a controlled pace situation for Justify. We know that's what he wants. He wants a controlled pace situation. This will be his 6th race since February 18th. Are his backers asking too much? If Justify loses, I don't see him having a terrible race. I think he will be somewhere in the top 3. Now the second horse, Free Drop Billy. Morning line, 30-1. High buyer of 90. His dad, Union Rags, won this race, but Free Drop Billy is out of his league here. He clearly didn't like the mud in the Kentucky Derby at all, and there probably will be mud again. He finished the race 41 lengths behind Justify in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Oh, in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year, he finished 29 1/4 lengths behind Good Magic. I don't believe Free Drop Billy has a chance. He's not up to this field. The 3-horse, Bravazzo. Morning line 8-1. High buyer, 96. Dwayne Lucas is a Hall of Fame trainer, and Bravazzo looks to be getting stronger and stronger. We talked about his Kentucky Derby performance, which was much better than it looked. He was bumped at the start, ran 4 or 5 wide around the entire race course. Because he ran so wide, he ran 44 more feet than Justify, 49 more feet than Good Magic. Unbelievable. According to Trackus, 1 length in racing translates to about 8.5 feet. So calculating that, he lost 5.2 lengths to Justify, 5.75 lengths to Good Magic. Bravazzo is improving. He was feeling so good that Dwayne Lucas worked Bravazzo out 8 days after the Kentucky Derby. Lucas said that he came out of the Preakness even better than he was going in. Lucas' Triple Crown horses seem to be getting better and better as they move through races. He always seems to do it. He's a Hall of Fame trainer. Now, I will never back a horse that has run in both the Derby and the Preakness. But unlike Justify, Bravazzo's speed figures have improved in the Preakness. The Preakness was his highest buyer. I don't know how a horse can be sitting on a giant race when it will be his 3rd in 5 weeks and his 6th since since January 13th. There is just too many miles on this colt. Now, everybody's sexy pick for the Belmont Stakes is Hofburg. Morning line 9-2, high buyer of 94. One of the reasons why everyone loves Hofburg is because his dad is Tappet. Tappet's sons have won 3 of the last 4 Belmonts. Tappet's babies have distance in their blood. And Hofburg is a half to stakes rooter emollient, and he's trained by Bill Mott. Hofburg is the kind of late closer I try to stay away from at the Belmont. 2 races back at the Florida Derby, he started in 8th place, 15 lengths back. In the Kentucky Derby, he opened in 16th place, 11 lengths back. He's a likely race colt. He will be the second choice, and I'm keeping him out of my action. Then we have the 5-horse. Take a look. This is our daily racing form right here. The 5-horse, Restoring Hope. This is the horse we were talking about. This is the rabbit. Baffert is bringing him in this race solely to give Justify a target to run at. There's no way, I shouldn't say there's no way, but he will very likely not be around at the finish. Then we have the 6-horse, Gronkowski from Europe. Morning line 12-1. This is a European horse that is yet to run on a dirt track. only turf and synthetic. He's won 4 races in a row. He's going to get overbet because his name is Gronkowski. He is trained for distance. He has been working well. He moved into Chad Brown stables. Chad Brown, Hall of Fame trainer. But I'm not going to be including Gronkowski in any of my action. He should be moving late. As I said, he's bred for distance. But I do not believe in Gronkowski. I do not believe a horse who's never run on dirt, coming over from Europe. He was supposed to run in the Kentucky Derby, but he got sick. Now we have the 7 horse, Tenfold, 12-1 morning line, high buyer of 95. I thought Tenfold was sitting on a big race at the Preakness, and I was right. He lost to Justify by just 3/4 of a length. His trainer, Steve Asmussen, is very high on him. I am very high on him. We're going to get a great number on him. He will be sitting in a great position. He'll be just off the pace. I believe Tenfold has what it takes to pull off the upset. Now, another lightly raced colt is Hofburg, who I'm staying away from. Hofburg may be ready to have a huge race, but I don't like late closers. They never take care of business. I am not on Hofburg, but he does have a similar record of Tenfold when I thought Tenfold was on a big race. Now we have the 8 horse, Vino Rosso. Now his morning line is not what we expect it to end up at. His morning line right now is at 8-1. We expect to be getting double digits on Vino Rosso come race day. He had an okay Derby. He started all the way from 18th before making a mild bid to finish 9th, a little less than 2 lengths from Hofburg in 7th. He faced a weaker field and benefited from a fast pace to set up his run in the Wood Memorial. It's a Grade 2 stakes race run in Belmont. They say it was questionable competition, but he ran a 98 buyer, and that is fast. He won the Wood Memorial here at Belmont. This Belmont racetrack is his home. Does he have the tactical speed to stay close enough to the pace? That's my only worry. My only worry. At first, I was going to take Hofburg and Vino Rosso both out. I was going to put a line through both of them because they're just very late closers. But knowing that Vino Rosso is comfortable on this Belmont track, that this is his home, I decided to include him. This is his trainer, Todd Pletcher's specialty. Taking a horse that runs good, okay to good in the Derby, having him skip the Preakness, and having him ready to fire in the Belmont. This is what Todd Pletcher does. He's a Hall of Fame trainer. The 9 horse, Noble Indy, morning line 30-1, high buyer 95. This is another Pletcher horse. He's going to be used as a rabbit to make Justify work harder. They would like Justify to work as hard as possible so he can be caught at the end of the race. Noble Indy was 17th in the Derby. He lost by 42 1/4 lengths. Clearly, he didn't like the mud. He may not like the mud again. Even if he doesn't like the mud, you can get him rolling quickly out of the gate and get him to pressure Justify. That's all they want him to do. If he gets into a pace duel with Justify, he will not be able to hang in there for a mile and a half. Now comes the 10 horse, a very interesting horse, Blended Citizen. Morning line 15-1. I will have Blended Citizen in my exactor boxes. Let's take a look at Blended Citizen here. His high buyer is just 90, and it was at the Peter Pan Stakes. The Peter Pan Stakes is the prep race for the Belmont Stakes in New York. It's run at the Belmont. He comes off winning that race. The winner of the 2014 Belmont, Tonalist, did the exact same thing. Won the Grade 3 Peter Pan Stakes, came in and won the Belmont. Now, I know it's just a 90 buyer, but there's different ways of looking at a horse's speed, and one is the Brisnet speed figure. They gave Blended Citizen a Brisnet speed figure of 98. That's faster than any horse's last race. Justify had a 97 Brisnet speed figure in the Preakness. Also, Blended Citizen is sired by Curlin, who is one of the best distant horses in recent memory. All right. Let's get to my bets. Now, for a quick pace projection, Justify, Restoring Hope, and Noble Indy will be going to the front. I want Blended Citizen and Tenfold right there behind them. I think that is the perfect spot to win the Belmont Stakes. To be 4th or 5th and only be back by about 3.5 lengths come the first half. That first half is running a 48, 47-4, 48-2. Then Justify worked a little harder than he'd want to. And these two horses will be ready to pounce. Now, if Justify gets away with a 49-2 first half, nobody will be catching Justify. My bets. My bets total cost will be $300. Now, Bookmaker, which gives us the best head-to-head matchup props, have not given them out yet. So tomorrow, it's Thursday right now. Tomorrow on the Low Shack in the Bag show, I will be delivering all of my matchup props, and everything's gone very successfully so far. I am 6-1 in my matchup props through the first 2 jewels. Here's my bets. Now, I will tweet out pictures of these bets before the race starts. I don't know exactly what odds I'll be getting at this point, but my bets total cost $300. I have a $40 exactor box. Now, we've been dealing with only straight exactors for the first 2 jewels. That's because I was very certain that Justify was going to win those 2 races. This time, I'm boxing them because I want Justify to get nipped right at the wire. If he does, I will get paid a lot of money. If he doesn't, and my horse comes second, not only will I watch Justify win the Triple Crown, but I will still get paid. $40 exactor box. Number 1 Justify to number 7 Tenfold. That's both ways, so that costs $80. A $40 exactor box. Number 1 Justify to number 8 Vino Rosso. Costs $80. A $40 exactor box. Number 1 Justify to number 10 Blended Citizen. That'll cost $80. So I have both sides covered. Now, I have 3 $10 exactor boxes without Justify. I do expect even a clunker by Justify, he'll still be 3rd. You know, at 4th at the worst. But if he's out of the first 2, these $10 exactor boxes will pay an enormous amount of money. My first $10 exactor box, number 7 Tenfold to number 8 Vino Rosso, costs $20. Number 10, next $10 exactor box, number 7 Tenfold to number 10 Blended Citizen, cost of $20. And my final $10 exactor box, number 8 Vino Rosso to number 10 Blended Citizen. When you hit an exactor on a race where there's a huge favorite and you don't include them in it, it pays an enormous amount of money. Now, all these bets have Hofberg, this number 2 choice at 9-2, off of them. That's dangerous, but that will get me paid. So that's my action. We've had a very strong first 2 jewels of the Triple Crown. Now, the time is nigh to make that cash at the Belmont Stakes this Saturday in New York City. Let's get that paper. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.